everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before, and today I'm going to be filming a Q&A about what it is like being in care. So last week I sent out a thing on my Snapchat with the YOLO sticker being like, hey, I'm filming a Q&A video, do you have any questions about being in care? And I got about 10 questions that I'm going to answer for you guys today. If you have any more questions, please leave them down in the comments because I'm thinking about making this a series. So if you would like that, please leave a thumbs up and write down in the comments any questions you have. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first question I got was, do you think there's enough support for people who age out of the system? Now, I have technically aged out of the system. I left my care home when I was 17, and after you hit 18, you are then referred to as a care leaver, which is what I am now. But they still support you until you are 25 now. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that hasn't always been the rule. I think it was until 21 until quite recently, but now it's until 25. So that's fun. But no, I don't think that there's enough support for people who age out of care, because I am 21 and I'm at uni. You know, it's pretty good for, like, you know, it's pretty good, but I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have like a home. University is my home, which is quite, it's a bit sucky, you know, it sucks a little bit. You don't always get the help that you need as a young adult. It's very difficult to leave care at 18. Like, that's too young. That's too young to be like fully independent and responsible for yourself. Like, in my opinion, I left when I was 17 and it was a fucking struggle, and it still is a struggle at 21. So no, I do not think there's enough put in place. We have like a personal advisor, a PA, who sort of helps us with the whole process of moving out, becoming independent, getting our own place and all of that lot. But other than that, like, I don't feel like I've had much support. Like, I've had support with the adult stuff, but when shit gets me down, when I get emotional and I can't do things, like, I don't think there's enough help. But yes, next question. What would you tell your younger self? Oh, that is a good one, because there's a lot I would tell my younger self. Probably to stop thinking that the world owes you something, because it doesn't. I grew up like being very angry about being in care, and I always took it out on everyone, but at the end of the day, it wasn't everyone else's fault. It was, you know, it was just one of those things. It sucked, but, you know, being in care was probably life-changing for me. It completely changed who I was as a person, and I'm so different to what I was when I first got put into care. So, like, I would just say, you know, go with the flow, stop fighting against the system, because the system is there to help you. That's really funny considering the last question, but yes, I would probably tell myself to just go with it. You know, bad things will happen, good things will happen, that's life, you know, and stop being so fucking angry. That's what I would tell myself. Okay, moving on. If you were ever in charge of how the care system works, what would be the first thing you would change? Going back to the first question, I would change the age that you age out of care. I would change it, like, I would put it higher. I would say that people should be allowed to stay in foster placements or care homes until they're a bit older, maybe sort of like 25 maybe, you know, because, like, if you think about it, at university, pretty much all of my friends who aren't in care live with their parents still. Like, when it's Christmas or summer, they go back to their parents, and they're all the same age as me. So I don't understand, you know, I think it should be dependent on the carer. Like, if you've got a foster, like, care homes is slightly different, but if you've got a foster carer, it should be up to them, because at the end of the day, they're basically stepping in for your parents. So if they want you to stay until whenever you're ready to leave, then I think that's the way it should be, you know? I don't think there should be an age out of it. Unless you're in a care home, it's a little bit different, because, you know, it just is. I can go into detail in another episode. If you want me to do a series, I can go into detail about the differences between care homes and foster placements. But yes, I would change the first thing I would change is what age you have to be before you can leave care, because I just think 18 is too low. I was not ready to adult at 18. I'm still not ready to adult at 21. That's why I go to uni, because I'm not ready to adult. Like, yeah, that's the first thing I would change. What is a positive you feel you have got from your experience? I've had a few. I can think of a few. So one of my favourite things about the fact that I grew up in care is the fact that I got to meet people from different cultures. I got to meet different, like, people of different age groups. Like, it was, without all the shit stuff, being in care is amazing for that sort of thing. I got to know different religions. Like, I lived with a foster carer who was Buddhist. My favourite foster carer, she was lovely. Like, things like that. I think the people you meet from being in the care system is probably one of the biggest positives I have. I would also say that being in care helped shape me as a person. Like, when I lived with my mum, I was not okay. I was a very angry little child. I was a little shit, I'm not gonna lie. So being in care helped fix that. It wasn't until I got into the care home, to be honest. When I was in foster placements, I was still behaving like a little shit. But then I lived in a care home with girls who were bigger and stronger and scarier than I was. And I soon calmed down. But yeah, so I think if it wasn't for care, I wouldn't be who I am without it. I wouldn't be where I am without it. I don't think I would have gone to uni if I stayed with my mum. No offense to her. Like, it's just, you know, I have a lot of opportunities now that I'm in care. I can go to uni. I can afford to go to uni, you know. I can afford to have driving lessons if I want them. Things like that. Like, you get a lot of opportunity from being in care, but you also don't, if that makes sense. I think there's another question about it later on, which I will explain that in better detail. But do you think being in care taught you things that you wouldn't otherwise have realised so quickly in order to help you grow as a person? Being in care taught me that there are always going to be people out there bigger, stronger, scarier than you. It taught me to embrace who I am and not hide myself. I think one of the good things about being in care is because I was raised so differently from other people, I have a different perspective on life, which I really enjoy. I guess it taught me how to be resilient. Everyone always tells me that I'm very resilient, and I'm guessing that I learnt that from being in care. I think one of the things I find quite funny that I talked to one of my friends about is the fact that because of growing up in care, I'm a bit of a chameleon, so I can settle into my surroundings very well. Like, I can adjust very easily to things because I was forced to in care, so I suppose that's quite easy. Like, coming to uni was, like, although uni is fucking hard and like my mental health is shit, coming to uni was a lot easier for me than it can be for some other people, because for some other people that's their first time away from home, whereas for me that was normal. Like, living in halls is basically like living in a care home but without staff. That's the way it feels like to me anyway. So yeah. Based on your experiences, do you have any tips and advice for how new carers can better accommodate those whom they're fostering / adopting? So for fostering, I can't answer for adopting because I'm not adopted, but for fostering, I would say, if you're a carer, treat that child like it's your own child, but not too much. Now, one of the things I really struggled with in foster placements is that they would treat me like I'm their kid, but like they were over the top about it. Like, I had my own mum, I had my own dad, and so I didn't like the fact that this random person was trying to become my mum or my dad, you know. It really pissed me off. But you've still got to care about them the way you would care about your own child. Just try not to be a replacement. Try to be another person, but not a replacement for the maternal figure. Do you understand? I don't know why I said that like he can answer me, but yeah, so try not to be over compensating. Yes. I would also say if your foster kid is getting angry about something, try and be as calm as you can. Most of the time it's not about you, it's about something else. Might even be because they miss their parents. It could be anything. It's not about you most of the time. Just let them calm down, speak to them, you know, tell them you're there for them, but that just don't push it, kind of thing. Were there any benefits to growing up in care? I feel like I've already answered that. Okay, I guess I could talk about the opportunities that we get. So because I'm in care, I get to go to uni. For some people, they wouldn't be able to afford to go to uni because they might not get as much student loan. But for me, because I'm a care leaver and I have no extra income, I get quite a lot of student loan, which means I can afford to go to uni and stay here, you know, kind of thing. I'd say also, like, it depends on your council. So for me, I've got Wiltshire Council from Salisbury, and there's a lot more that they put in place for us than like some other councils, but then there are some other councils that put more in than my council does. So it all depends on your council. So I can't really go that much into detail of the opportunities that all of us get. I know that for my council, we get help with driving lessons. So for example, I'll pay for 5, they'll match it with another 5 up until I'm 25. I know that when I choose to get my own place, they'll help me move in, they'll help me sort of start off the process. On your birthday, did you ever get to have a party or gifts, etc., or was it made less of a big deal? I think that depends on the place. Like, a lot of my foster placements were quite good for my birthdays, some were not. I remember my favourite birthday was, my birthday was on Easter Sunday once. It was with the Buddhist foster placement, and she gave me loads of chocolate eggs, and I'm pretty sure I actually had eggs for breakfast that day, as in normal eggs and also cream eggs. It was brilliant. But yeah, so like my birthday was usually made a big deal out of, you know. In the care home, we had this thing where we would have a meal on our birthdays, or like the anniversary of when we moved into the care home. So we'd always go out for a meal, and we would get presents. We had like a little allowance that they would use to buy us gifts with. So yeah. Were you allowed to have friends over? Again, it depends on the placement. I'm like, yeah, we were allowed to have friends over. It was a bit of a big deal, like in the in the care home, sorry. It was a bit harder because there had to be like checks and stuff and all of this lot, because like they would be liable for the friend that I bring over, kind of thing. But all in all, they were pretty okay with having friends over. It all just depends on the placement and the rules of that placement, you know. Not every foster placement or care home will be the same. So yeah. And the last question is there any popular portrayal in the media that is close to what care is really like? And I'm smiling because when I lived in the care home, I was often asked if it was like Tracy Beaker. And I'm here to tell you that it's fucking not. Okay? Like, as far as I'm aware, there's not any examples really that I can think of. The only example that springs to mind is Tracy Beaker, so I don't blame people for making that assumption. But no, it's not like Tracy Beaker. I suppose in a way it is, but like it's a lot less fun. It's a lot less fun, and I dealt with a lot of shit in the care home, so like no, it's not like Tracy Beaker. I can't really think of any, but then I don't go out there looking for TV and stuff about care kids. Maybe I could do that, you know, if you guys would be interested. But No, I don't really think that there are any portrayals in the media that are accurate as far as I'm aware. If you know one, put it down in the comments and I'll give it a watch, because I would be intrigued to watch some stuff about care. That is all my questions for today. And here's a little bit of advice for you, the viewer. If you know anyone that's in care, please be nice to them. Please do not say any shit to them because they don't live with their parents. Also, don't assume why they're in care. That was one that I got a lot. Like, when I was growing up, people would assume that I was in care because I was horrible and there was something wrong with me and all of this lot, or they would assume that there was something wrong with my parents or something like that. Don't assume why people are in care. Ask them, and if they're not comfortable answering, then drop it. Don't keep at it. I'm very happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Please do leave them in the comments, because I am a fucking open book and I love answering questions about it, because it gives me a chance to talk about my experience and sort of explain it to people who won't get to experience it, and also make other care kids feel less alone, because being in care is fucking lonely and it sucks. So yeah, be nice to people you know in care, because, you know, they're going through a rough time. And if they're a dick to you, they're definitely going for a rough time, and it's probably nothing to do with you. It's probably some other shit that's going on, because I was horrible to people when I was younger, because I was so angry about being in care and I was not in a good place, so I took it out on other people. But yeah, so that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and subscribe if you're not already. But yes, so I'm hoping to make this a series, because, you know, I think it would be really fun to make it a series. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and then I can reply to them in another video. But yes, so have a lovely day/week/life.